just yet, or they're also, because he's supposed to be filling for KJ Wright, but Kendricks is a natural outside linebacker, honestly, because he has 4.4 speed. But he can play middle linebacker, but they don't need him because they have Bobby Wagner. So he'll probably play outside linebacker spot. Help solidify things, but honestly, with that insider trading case over his head, I don't really see how he's ever going to play football again. That one's kind of amazing to me in itself. But, alas, some NFL Hall of Fame news. The modern era semifinalists for the NFL Hall of Fame was released. A lot of great names on this list. Richard Seymour, Ed Reed, Champ Bailey, Tony Gonzalez, Zach Thomas, who arguably had better stats than Brian Urlacher if we're going to go back and look at it. I'm actually kind of amazed that Zach Thomas didn't even really get much of a look. But, so there's the 6 first-year eligible candidates were cornerback / safety Rondé Barber. He was mostly a cornerback because he played in the Tampa 2 in Tampa. Guard Stephen Hutchinson, who famously played for the Seahawks and the Vikings and played at Michigan. It was like the 18th overall pick when he came out, I think in 99 or something. Richard Seymour, Leroy Butler, defensive end Leslie O'Neal and Simeon Rice, Everson Walls. I already said Tony Gonzalez, but other guys on the list: Tony Baselli, Isaac Bruce, still he should be in. Don Coryell, Steve Atwater, who was the safety for the Broncos and the Jets. Pretty much, he was the first big-ass safety who would be a linebacker in today's game. Think of like a Thomas Davis. If y'all don't know who that is, he plays for the Carolina Panthers. He was the 10th overall pick out of Georgia. He was a safety in college and then moved down to linebacker. Roger Craig. Adrian James is still up. Kevin Mawai, who was a center guard for the Seahawks and the Jets and the Titans. And he's a semifinalist. Hines Ward actually got on too. So it's going to be an interesting list with these modern era Hall of Famers. I think I said Alan Vanica. But that's going to be a really interesting crop to see who actually might end up making the Hall of Fame, who might be a finalist. I still say Isaac Bruce has to be a Hall of Famer. It's not really that legit because he's like 5th all time. He's top 5 in receiving yards, and he has 91 career touchdowns. I say he's a better player than Torrey Holt, and a lot of people who say Isaac Bruce wasn't that good, you probably didn't watch his early career numbers. Like, he took a backseat for Torrey Holt and was still great and had a better last season than Torrey Holt too. Now, this is college football and pro, but everybody out there in the Virginia area, South Carolina, Hurricane Florence was the cause of 5 games. The Carolina Panthers, I guess, decided that they weren't going to leave for Atlanta early. They're probably going to take buses down. But as far as that, it's a Category 4 hurricane. It's supposed to touch down today. I haven't checked the news lately. I don't know if it has or not, but it's going to tear up Virginia pretty bad. University of Central Florida versus North Carolina got canceled. West Virginia versus North Carolina got canceled. East Carolina versus Virginia Tech got canceled. Appalachian State versus Southern Mississippi got canceled. And Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina were all mandatory evacuations. Now, I guess the part of Carolina that the Panthers were in, they weren't expecting to get hit. But in times like that, when it comes to hurricanes, you get the fuck out of there. Like, I have friends who have family back that way. I'm going to pray for y'all. I'm rooting for y'all. Hold it down. And good luck. Tennessee, the University of Tennessee, University of Florida, actually were giving away free tickets to students for their games. And to kind of be a petty asshole. Yeah, I know, right? So last week, and yeah, we're in the college football segment now. Last week, for the first time in like 32 years, Kentucky beat Florida. I think it was at Florida. I don't remember. I think it was at Florida, but Kentucky beat Florida like 32-17 or 15 or whatever. And one of their players, their running backs, pretty much quit the team and transferred, and he did it on Instagram like right after the game. And I'm just like, wow. Florida is a cesspool of just, they can't, I don't know, just a cesspool of controversy. Like, they can't get their shit together. Players are still getting arrested and kicked off the team. I don't know what, like, Florida has all this just all this insane amount of NFL talent, and they can't get it together. It's kind of shocking. But, I mean, hey, sometimes that's the curse you deal with. With certain schools, they just can't get it together. Unlike Boise State, shout out to Boise State. They're pretty much playing the biggest game of their season. They're going to play Oklahoma State, who's ranked. And it's pretty much going to decide their season. If they win this game, they'll probably skyrocket to, you know, like, they might sneak up near the top 10 if they beat Oklahoma State and then go out and win out the Mountain West. Then they could be a team that could probably get a New Year's Day bowl. But you still have University of Central Florida, UCF, the uncrowned national champs. They still say they want Bama, but I really don't think they do. Kudos to them. Oh, okay. Shout out to Keith. He said David Johnson deserves it if Chris Paul got his deal. Okay. Damn. Alright. David Johnson definitely did deserve his money. Some people might say that he got a little bit less. Yeah, he kind of, I feel like David Johnson could have got $40 million. But when it comes to taking certain deals, you gotta know when to leverage against the market and be like, look, let me just get this little punk ass 3-year deal. Just give me $30 million. And, you know, hey, the rest is history. But now, something interesting, especially for college, what I really wanted to get to. Now, the Forbes list came out for the college football's most valuable teams. 1 through, I want to say, 25. Texas Tech is 25th. Revenue $60 million. Profit $31 million. And then the Big 12. Now, that's just 25, and that's $60 million. USC, notably, is at 18. Pac-12, $87 million revenue, $47 million. Now, with these schools, I want y'all to understand when it comes to athletics, this is what they bring in, but it also doesn't factor in donations from super rich, stupid rich benefactors. So the number you're hearing, it's like, yeah, that's a lot. But when it comes to USC, they have just like a bottomless war chest of endowment money that they can use on anything that they constantly get. Especially for a private school, their endowments, it's just a bottomless pit of money, to be perfectly honest. But I'm going to talk about the top, I'll go top 12. Texas A&M is considered college football's most valuable team. They play in the SEC. The revenue they get is about $148 million with a profit margin of about $107 million. Now, Texas A&M is like agriculture and mining. So, agriculture, they do a lot of big stuff there at Texas A&M. They do a lot. And if you can make money in agriculture and you're in Texas, That's why Texas A&M has always just been a big player. And once they left the Big 12 and went to the SEC, everybody knew, oh, yeah, this is perfect for them. And it helped because Johnny Manziel, Mike Evans, Texas A&M, they won fast and early when they first got to the SEC. And all that money came in from bowl games and Johnny Manziel winning a Heisman. That does a lot for your school. Now, second is Texas because, Texas, they have, more money than God practically. Texas is so big they could be independent. They don't even need other schools. That's kind of been an argument for years. They could have broke the college landscape and just gone independent. But they didn't. They do have their own network, though, the Texas network. That's what pissed off a lot of Big 12 teams. But revenue, $133 million. Profit margin of $87 million. The Michigan Wolverines, yeah, Michigan's loaded too. Don't be fooled. Even though Jim Harbaugh is incredibly overrated as a head coach and he's done nothing to warrant that contract, he's been pretty bad for Michigan. But anyway, $127 million revenue, profit margin of about $75 million. Alabama Crimson Tide, of course. $127 million, same as Michigan, but they pulled in $59 million in profit. That football team has literally just upgraded that entire stadium. That entire campus. Everywhere you look, they got that money from football. Just understand and know that. So when anyone says, oh, all these schools are worth all this money, ask yourself, yet why won't they pay the athletes? Ohio State coming in 5, Big Ten, $120 million. $69 million as far as profit margin goes. The Oklahoma Sooners, revenue of $118 million, profit margin of about $72 million. Notre Dame Fighting Irish, they're independent, revenue of $112 million, profit of $72 million. The Auburn Tigers, SEC, $112 million, $61 million profit. LSU Tigers, SEC, revenue. Pretty much the SEC is loaded with cash. There's literally a gang of SEC teams on this list. They're ranked, LSU's ranked 9th. $112 million, $56 million. Profit margin, Florida Gators, $111 million, $67 million. And then Tennessee Volunteers are also in the SEC. That's literally 4 straight SEC teams that round out the top 10 and 11. And Tennessee makes $108 million, $60 million profit margin. And Tennessee is fucking terrible at football. They're terrible. They're so bad, I want to shit on them worse than Texas, but they're not even worth my time. Oregon comes in at 12. $92 million, $54 million revenue. And then behind them, Arkansas at 13. SEC. Not going to read off that whole list, but I'll just tell you the rest of the names. So it was Oregon at 12, Arkansas at 13, Penn State at 14, South Carolina at 15, Georgia Bulldogs at 16, Florida State Seminoles in the ACC at 17, like I said, USC at 18, Washington Huskies at 19, Nebraska Cornhuskers at 20, Ole Miss Rebels at 21, Michigan State Spartans at 22, the Iowa Hawkeyes at 23, Wisconsin at 24, and then they rounded out of Texas Tech. Now, all that money is on the line, and yet again, we're worried about these kids not getting paid. And I just want y'all to just really, you can go look up that Forbes article, but I just want y'all to really just think about that. All that money that's getting pulled in, and the constant circular lie, the snake eating its tail argument, well, we can't call them professional athletes because they're amateurs and they're students, but they bring all this revenue, and once we actually start allowing them to get paid, then they're no longer amateurs, but they're bringing in all this money. So yeah, just want y'all to, just something to think about.